All right, let's dive into something I think you're going to find really fascinating. We're going to break down a super powerful trading view script that's all about revealing the market's memory, seeing the invisible structures that really drive the price. It's all about turning that noisy, confusing chart into a clear, actionable map. So, let's get into it.
You know the feeling, right? You pull up a chart and it's just a mess. You've got 5 different indicators all screaming different signals at you. It's a one-way ticket to analysis paralysis, and it usually happens at the worst possible moment.
Or how about this one? This is even worse. You set what you think is a perfect stop loss, just below a key low. And what happens? Price wicks down, snags your stop by a single tick, and then, boom, it reverses and goes exactly where you thought it would. It feels personal, doesn't it? Like the market is literally hunting for your stop. Well, what if I told you that's exactly what's happening?
So here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about trading in the fog. Then we'll uncover the market's hidden fuel. After that, we'll decode the sweep. This is a key signal. Then we'll walk through a super practical user's guide, get into an advanced Russian doll strategy, and finally, wrap it up with the right mindset, because this is a tool, not a crystal ball. Okay, so first things first, let's talk about why so many traders feel completely lost. It really comes down to the traditional tools we're taught to use, which often just create this thick fog of uncertainty right when we need to see clearly.
Let's be real. Traditional analysis is just full of traps. Lagging indicators? They're great at telling you what already happened. Thanks, Captain Hindsight. And those repainting fractals that look so perfect after the fact, useless in the moment. The problem is they're all reactive, not predictive. So we end up chasing breakouts that turn out to be traps, or we're so buried in data we just freeze. This script is designed to cut right through all that noise.
Okay, to really get how this script works, we need to talk about what actually moves the market. And spoiler alert, it's not just random buying and selling. It's a hunt for a very specific kind of fuel. It's a hunt for liquidity.
So what is liquidity? In simple terms, it's just a big pile of orders. Think about it. All the short sellers have their stop losses sitting just above a recent high, and all the long buyers, their stops are just below a recent low. The big players, the smart money, they need to trigger those stops to get their huge orders filled. That's the hidden fuel that they're constantly hunting for. And this is where the script is just brilliant. It automatically draws these fuel pools on your chart for you. You get 2 types of lines. A red dotted line shows up above a key high. That's buy-side liquidity. It's where the shorts have their stops. And a green dotted line appears below a key low. That's sell-side liquidity, where the longs have their stops. Both of these are giant targets for price.
I absolutely love this analogy. Think of these lines as electric fences. They're these boundaries where a ton of energy is just waiting to be released. Price is drawn to them like a magnet, and the second it touches that fence, zap, something big happens. So price touches that electric fence, now what? This is where we get to the absolute core logic of the script. We're talking about identifying something called the sweep. This is the coded signal that tells you if you're looking at a trap or a real move. Pay close attention here because this is probably the most important distinction you need to make. Not all breaks of these lines are the same. In both a sweep and a breakout, the price will pierce the line, but, and this is the key, it's all about where the candle closes. If the candle body closes back inside the level, that's a sweep. It's a trap, a liquidity grab, a potential reversal. But if the candle body closes outside the level, that's a true breakout. That's a sign the trend might continue. This script is built to spot the sweep.
So how does the script show this to you? Oh, it's so simple and clean. You see a red dot appear above a candle? That's a bearish sweep. It means price spiked up, grabbed the stops, and then closed back down. See a green dot below a candle? That's a bullish sweep. Price dipped down, took out the stops, and closed back up. And here's the really cool part. Once a sweep happens, the line disappears. Why? The fuel's been used up. The script automatically cleans your chart so you can focus on the next opportunity.
Okay, that's the theory. It's cool, right? But how do you actually use this thing to trade? Let's get practical and walk through exactly how to do it. It all boils down to a really simple 3-step protocol. First, just observe. Let the script draw the map for you with those red and green lines. You're just identifying where the traps might be. Second, and this is the hard part for a lot of us, you wait. You have to be patient and wait for price to hit one of those lines and print a signal dot. That's your trigger. And finally, step 3, confirm and execute. The signal dot is powerful, but it's even better if you see other confirmation, like a big, long rejection wick on that candle. Then you can plan your trade.
Now, every once in a while, you might see something on your chart that looks a little weird.
you might see a green line above the current price, or a red line below it. No, the script isn't broken. This is actually a super useful feature showing you a classic support/resistance flip. A green line above price used to be support, a floor, that got smashed. Now it's likely to act as new resistance, a ceiling. The same goes for a red line below price. It flips from resistance to support. The script keeps these key levels on your chart to give you extra context.
All right, you've got the basics down. Ready to level up? This is where this tool goes from just being really cool to an absolute game changer. We're going to use it like a set of Russian dolls, stacking different time frames to find really high probability setups. And the core principle here is simple, but it is so powerful. You use the big time frame to define the battlefield, to figure out the overall direction. Then you use the small time frame to zoom in and find your perfect sniper entry point.
So here's exactly how it works in practice. Let's say you're on your 4-hour chart. This is your map. You see price sweep a major red line and print a big red dot. Okay, your bias is now bearish. The big players are leaning short. But you don't jump in yet. Instead, you switch over to your 15-minute chart, your sniper scoop. You patiently wait for price to make a small rally, and then, bam, you get a new bearish sweep, a red dot on the 15-minute chart. That is your entry signal. You're lining up the big picture bias with a precise, low-risk entry. It's beautiful.
Okay, as amazing as all this is, we've got to bring it back to reality for a second. It is so important to have the right perspective. This script is an incredible tool for reading what the market is trying to do, but it is not a crystal ball.
Every tool has its strengths and its weaknesses, right? Let's be totally honest about this one. The pros? It filters out so much noise, it's completely objective, no repainting, and it's a fantastic anti-FOMO tool. Plus, your charts stay clean. The cons? Well, in a runaway freight train of a trend, it can give you a false signal, it doesn't look at volume, and because those lines disappear, it can be a little tricky to backtest visually.
And honestly, this quote from the source material just hits the nail on the head. This isn't about predicting the future. Think of it as a high-probability zone detector. It's not telling you what will happen. It's illuminating the present by showing you where the big money is likely making a move right now.
So, I'll leave you with this question. The next time you open up your charts, what are you going to see? Are you going to see just a bunch of random, noisy squiggles on a screen? Or are you now going to see the structure underneath it all? Are you going to see the hunt? Thanks for joining me.